everybody, today I'm going to give you 10 tips on what you should consider before buying your next flipper vehicle. If you like this content, I ask that you please like the video down below and please consider subscribing to my channel. I'm Andy, this is The Rusted Nut. Let's get started. Okay, the first thing you need to consider is research. You need to do your research before you buy your next car to flip. By research, what I mean is look on Facebook Marketplace, look at Craigslist, look and see what's selling. Don't buy based off of solely what you like. Remember, you're not trying to sell what you like. You're trying to sell to a market out there. So look at what the most popular vehicles are that are selling. Also, if possible, look at the sold listings in Facebook Marketplace. Mine show up for me automatically when I look through Marketplace because all I ever do is look for vehicles. I have a little bit of an addiction and I'm constantly looking for new vehicles. Do not always just look at Kelley Blue Book for vehicle values. It's not always an accurate reflection of what the market is actually doing. Don't get me wrong, it's a good ballpark, but it's not always accurate. The second thing you need to consider is the vehicle title status. Beware of vehicles without titles. It is especially hard in PA to get a duplicate title, especially if you are not the original owner. As a matter of fact, that would virtually be impossible. Also, stay away from salvage and reconstructed title vehicles. They're very hard to sell on later because their value is severely diminished with the title status. Now, I'm not saying that reconstructed title vehicles aren't worth having. If you need a vehicle for yourself, a reconstructed title can be just fine, as long as you're not trying to make a profit off of it later. Personally, I'm not afraid of reconstructed title vehicles, as long as I'm going to buy it for myself and not expect a profit later on. But if you're going to buy a vehicle to flip, you really should look at clear title vehicles only. You will save yourself a lot of headaches in the long run if you do. The next tip that I have for you is niche vehicles. Try to stay away from niche vehicles. They tend to cost more in parts and repairs than other vehicles out there. It will also limit the market that will be searching for your type of vehicle out there. But if you specifically want to sell a niche vehicle, make sure there's a market for it and that they're actually selling out there before you do. Also, if you're selling a niche vehicle, make sure to look for Facebook groups for that type of vehicle. Those are good places to list them for sale and will generally get more response. Tip number 4 is budget. Figure out before you buy how much you can afford to spend on the vehicle and the repairs that it may need.
Money, 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 money.
Count on more repairs than the seller discloses, or the list of repairs you might have in your head that the vehicle needs. It will almost always need more than you expect. As you start tearing into the vehicle, you're going to find things that are hidden. You're going to find things that maybe the seller hid or just panels were hiding. I haven't had a flipper yet that I haven't found more than I expected. So make sure you budget more than you're expecting for repairs because it will almost always cost more than you expect. The 5th tip that I have for you, always look a vehicle over in person.
Oh, would you look at this?
Yeah, well.
Would you look at that?
And if it's a running driving car, see if you can take it for a test drive or if the seller will at least give you a ride in it so you can feel how it rides. You can learn a lot from the test drive, how well the vehicle performs, how well the vehicle rides, whether it's misfiring, whether it has rattles or shakes that you can't visibly find on the vehicle when you're inspecting it. Listings rarely ever paint the entire picture of an automobile, and sellers are not quick to point out all the flaws because they don't want to scare potential buyers off. If you're in the Rust Belt like I am, check meticulously for frame rust or rust damage that is not easily repaired. It is a large and common problem in the Northeast where they use a lot of salt on the roads during the wintertime. So definitely make sure you stay away from frame damage that is caused by rust. And actually, I would stay away from any frame damage at all. Unless you have access to a body shop that has a frame alignment machine, you can usually get things straightened out there pretty good. Sometimes even better than it was from the factory. Tip number 6 is one that is near and dear to me because it's the one I have the biggest problem with every time I buy a flipper. Buy with your mind, not with your heart. Don't slip into the trap where you fall in love with the vehicle that you may potentially buy.
Love you, baby. Say it was love at first sight.
I've done this and then I end up keeping the vehicle because I love all vehicles. I have a little bit of a problem. This makes you no money. It only costs you money in the long run. If you go to look at a car and you fall in love with it yourself, be prepared to have the willpower to walk away from it. This is how I ended up with my Jetta. I bought a 2005 Jetta TDI that had a running problem with it. It was running really rough. It was definitely sucking air. There was big problems with it. I had to trailer it home. I brought it home and I found out one of the most common problems was wear on the camshaft and the lifters. So after I replaced those, the engine ran great, and I started falling in love with the vehicle. It was a 5-speed, it was getting almost 50 miles to the gallon, and I quickly fell in love with it to the point where it became my new daily driver. That didn't make me any money, it just cost me money. Fast forward to the day after I got it inspected. I was driving to work very early in the morning, it was like 4:45, and someone pulled out in front of me from an overpass, and I totaled both of our cars by broadsiding him. It was especially fun because the driver had no license, insurance, and was in this country illegally. Now, I'm not going to get into the politics of how I feel about people that are in this country illegally, but it was not a good experience for me. I did get a little satisfaction from the constable that picked him up on a warrant and then deported him. This is how I ended up with my WRX, because I needed something to console me and make me feel better after I had this accident. I ended up taking a $5,000 bath on that Jetta because I did not have collision coverage on it, and with the driver not having insurance, there was nobody to pay the bill, except for me. So it cost me $5,000 for the Jetta, and then it cost me for a vehicle loan for the WRX. Enough about that, let's move on to tip number 7, which is time. Time is your enemy with a flipper. Make sure you have the time to do the work, because vehicles will typically just depreciate more with time. COVID changed that for a little while as vehicle prices skyrocketed due to supply issues, but the market seems to be cooling down now that the supply is increasing. During COVID, supply ground to a halt where demand did not. So sellers were getting a premium for used vehicles, usually to the tune of better than the value of the vehicle itself. But the problem is now the market's cooling off after COVID, and everyone's stuck upside down in vehicle loans and vehicle values that they purchased during COVID. But right now, the market's tipping back in the favor of the buyer again. So make sure you take the time and do the work. And that will lead us into my next tip of number 8, which is quality. If you're going to flip a vehicle, make sure you perform safe and quality repairs on it. This will save you headaches from the buyer later. If the buyer is driving down the road and a wheel falls off because you didn't attend to the faulty wheel bearings on it, expect trouble coming back to you. While it is the buyer's responsibility to inspect a vehicle, just because you list a vehicle as is does not fully excuse you from fault. Now that would be up for a court to decide, not me. I am not a judge nor an attorney.
I don't like your attitude.
What else is new?
But all I can tell you is I would not make shady repairs on a vehicle you're going to flip. I prefer for my buyers to be happy with what they're buying from me because it may make them return as a buyer later for something else I might have. And I've had customers actually ask me for vehicles for their child for a first car or their friend who needs a car and ask me to look for other vehicles for them, which I'm all too happy to do because I have such a sickness that I love looking at vehicles all the time. Tip number 9. Dealer license. In Pennsylvania, you can only sell 4 vehicles per year before you need a dealer license. Dealer licenses are not easy to come by either. Check the DMV laws in your state before you start flipping, because this includes the title transfer on your daily driver should you decide to buy a new vehicle this year. If you run the risk of transferring more titles in a year than you're allowed, consider the dealer license route. But just remember, with that comes additional insurance, property checks, tax ID number, etc. Because you have to have a fully fledged business to have a dealer license. And the last tip I have for you is to have fun. I enjoy taking a vehicle that has seen better days and transforming it into a nice, reliable ride for someone else. I enjoy taking a vehicle that has seen better days and transforming it into something a person would be proud to drive and be reliable. The work is the most rewarding part to me, even more so than the profit. Because I love mechanics and I love fixing vehicles, that part is especially rewarding to me. But the downside to that is it also becomes the reason why I want to keep everything, which I can't do if I want to stay married and I want to keep my house.
I am done! I don't deserve this. I really do not deserve this. I deserve somebody who gives a shit.
When you take a vehicle that has needed a ton of repairs or has been crashed and you fix everything and you see what you've accomplished at the end and then you take it for that first drive, it's exhilarating. But again, it's also when I fall in love with the vehicle too. So there's that. And as a bonus, I'm going to give you one extra tip. Tip number 11, buy manual transmission vehicles. Even the crappiest Honda Civic, if it's a manual transmission, can be fun to drive. And for me, I'm more enticed to buy vehicles that are manual transmissions. They're getting fewer and harder to find. Everybody wants to drive a manual, boring car these days. Not me. I like fun vehicles that I can row through all the gears going down the road and feel like I'm driving a sports car, even if it's a Camry. So anyway, those are the tips that I have for you today. So get out there on Marketplace or bring a trailer or whatever and look for your next vehicle to flip and get cracking at it. And please feel free to comment down below if you're working on a vehicle right now. I'd love to see whether it's a flipper, whether it's your antique car, whether it's your project, whatever it is. I'd love to see what you're working on. I will engage with you too. I engage with everybody who leaves a comment for me. But before I leave, don't forget to hit like down below and subscribe to my channel, and happy flipping.